Welcome into another edition of Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. JP Shadrick with you as always. John Oehser is out this week. Kainani Stevens is in. And Bucky Brooks, of course, in Los Angeles. Bucky, this is what we call in the business a massive upgrade. Good afternoon.
No knocking on John too early. It's good to see you, Bucky.
See, it's easier to talk when John's not in the room. It's perfect.
That's fair. Yes, we can talk about him when he's not here.
That's what we do, Buck. Come on.
Y'all are hilarious. That's funny.
That's what it is. He'll do the same to us. That's kind of how
true.
John, and we love John, of course. Plenty to get to today. Phase 3. Bucky, Phase 3 is here. Actual football helmets were on.
Oh, man, this is the fun part. We talk about OTAs. We're one step closer to the ball being real. And this gives us a chance to see some of the competitive drills. We get a chance to track some of the completions, look at some of the depth chart stuff. This is the fun part. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, I know you were tracking it yesterday, Kai, right?
Bucky's always excited. He can analyze it a little better than I can. I'm just excited to see them doing football-like activities.
Even though it was inside, but whatever. Yeah. It
was. Well, for us, that was a blessing. It was full training camp hot outside yesterday, and it rained right before, so we were inside for most of it. Yeah, it's just nice to see everybody together, right? The rookies, too, working now with the veterans to kind of see how they learn. And I always like to kind of watch the coaching staff as well, because this coaching staff specifically, they get after them pretty good. So they were yelling at some of the rookies yesterday, but this is all part of the process and kind of figuring out things as they go along.
We can't get into the details of who's playing where and what, but it felt like there were 7 million tight ends making catches yesterday.
Yeah, and I feel like Brenton Strange was working with the wide receivers at one point.
Yeah.
We seem to... That's what we're projecting will be his kind of role going forward. So seeing that kind of come to fruition is always a nice little sneak peek.
Yeah, these little things in the OTAs, Bucky, kind of pop out from time to time. Maybe they're trying something, and then they'll adjust as they move along.
Yeah, no, but I think that's a notable development. You talk about Brenton Strange working with the wide receivers, and part of it is, look, when they took the 2 tight ends, it was very controversial, given the fact that they took one in the second round, one that they didn't think would be there. But it's part of what I believe is the growth of this offense and the expansion of this offense. Teams are trending towards using more 2 and 3 tight end sets, whether it's 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, or 13 personnel with 3 tight ends on the field. It's a growing trend. And it's one of the trends to counter some of the things that defenses are doing. And so when looking at the composition of the roster and thinking about Brenton Strange and the skills that he brings, having him work a little bit at wide receiver add some versatility to this offense where they can be multiple, and maybe he becomes a jumbo slot receiver in their 12 personnel packages. Maybe they're able to put multiple tight ends and he's the guy that's standing alone. It just adds to what Liam Coen wants to do with this offense in his second season at the helm.
Yeah, you see him running loose at you. That's it can be a mismatch for certain players.
That's a little scary. Yeah. Plus, they haven't had that big, kind of go up and get it guy at wide receiver. So if you can kind of use Brenton in that role, that's certainly something new for the offense to utilize. And Liam Coen talks about it every time we talk to him. He's just so excited with the possibilities now that he feels like he has the personnel that he wants. That feels like him and Grant can be a little more creative with what they're going to do on offense this season.
Now let's get to the quarterback, of course, Trevor Lawrence under the microscope in his second year in this offense. We'll get to the offense coming up, but the big story at the start of the press conference
had to know
was about the haircut. It was the first time talking to the media since the schedule release. What about the haircut, Trevor?
Got a lot of, that's not real, right? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, thank God. And then they say how bad it was. But I wonder what they would have said if I was like, yeah, it's real. So, no, it's funny.
Is there any chance that you actually are you ever tinkering with cutting your hair, shorter?
I would. I mean, I don't know. Not anytime soon. That's not the plan, but maybe keep that in my back pocket if I ever need a little PR, I guess. That worked pretty good. So if I need somebody to get off my back, just do a fake haircut.
Mark Long of the AP getting a big story.
Getting the scoop.
Buck. And it is funny how much that has gone since they put out the schedule.
Well, look, it's gone on for a long time. Having known Trevor since he was in high school, that has been a big part of his story. I mean, the flowing locks, sunshine, as they would call him way back when he was coming through Elite 11 with the hair. I just can't imagine Trevor Lawrence without the hair. It's almost like Samson. Would he lose his powers if he didn't have the long hair? And we're hoping that based on the way that he played last year, he doesn't have any plans to cut the hair off, because we certainly don't want him to regress after all the progress that he made last season.
I don't think he does. Plus, I think Marissa likes it. So happy wife, happy life. You don't want to cut your hair if your wife doesn't like it. But he did say, he did say his grandma saw it and called and asked if it was real, which I was like, you got to let grandma in on the joke. You can't let her see these things on the internet, think it's real. But that was such a terrible wig. When people were texting me about it, I was like, I would hope if he did cut his hair, that was not the cut that would be chosen.
I'll be honest with you. If for somebody who doesn't have much anymore, I'll take what I can get sometimes.
You would want that? You would want that haircut?
I mean, you haven't seen me with it, have you?
I have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think we certainly could find him a stylist that could make it. If he wanted to go shorter, we could give him a nice little trim.
There are options, yes.
Right. Nice and tapered and cut efficiently, not like that. I don't know what that was, but yeah, we can upgrade the stylist that is taking care of his hair if he decides to cut it short.
Bucky, I think yours is by choice, mine is by nature, but I think my advice to Trevor, this is my only hair advice, is to be careful, because it might not always come back.
Hold on to it as long as you can.
Don't ever
as long as you can.
Cut it.
As long as you can, because it doesn't go back.
You can't go back and play the game again.
No.
It's over.
Yeah, it's all over.
Point.
That's funny though. Trevor seems to be in a good mood. Like he's back. He certainly appears to be enjoying himself being back on the grass and all the things that they're doing. I just like the buzz and the energy. You guys are there, boots on the ground, but it does feel like there's a different energy in the building, and I think I'm excited about the prospects.
It's real.
It feels organized too. I think I wrote this yesterday when I was just talking about it, like, because, obviously last year's new system, new scheme, new coaches, everything. So everybody's kind of figuring out what they're doing, running around. It just feels like they have it under control. Like, obviously there are new parts to this, rookies, new players, but it's organized in how they're doing. They know what they want to get out of it, and they know how they want to teach it to the players. And I think just having the coaching staff all on one page, and then also the veterans understanding enough from last year to help with some of the younger guys this year. It feels like it's all kind of flowing in formation and very organized, this, at least so far.
Yeah, second go round for the coaching staff and everybody in the building, and certainly for the players in the system as well. And speaking of the offense, it is year 2 in this offense for Trevor Lawrence, who's had a bunch of different offenses in his NFL career. It's more about refining the offense now instead of learning new material.
The opportunity to focus on the details more than just absorbing like all the information and just trying to get it on tape and run it and then make all the corrections. Like last year, it's just a lot more to take in, and your mind is racing a little bit because you're thinking about a lot. So this year, to have the system down, a bunch of guys that have played together, obviously there's a few new pieces, but majority of us really know it. We can focus on talking about all the details of each route and how it's going to adjust versus certain coverages, and then also making tweaks to the concepts and to the plays that we already have in. Like we've had a handful of things where we've changed them from last year because running them a full season and seeing what we like, it's like, okay, this would be better to add on the backside than what we were running. So being able to do stuff like that and just improve the offense, not just completely, all right, just do the same thing, like trying to see what is better and making some tweaks.
That's Trevor Lawrence yesterday, Bucky, and this is where, okay, you can start really taking steps as an offense. And I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, but you saw Tom Brady firsthand, right? They had that system down year after year. They could make little tweaks in routes, Bucky, where, hey, I need you to go 5 yards and turn this way. And this is the time of year where you're starting to work on that stuff, right, Buck?
Yeah, this is the time, like the chemistry and the connectivity. And because you're in the same system, let's say last year was like a base level course. This is like your elementary course. Now we can move and progress to graduate level. And what you're hoping is that everyone is on the same page, and you can begin to put your own touch on this offense if you're Trevor Lawrence and some of these receivers, and being able to kind of expand upon it, being able to take some of the things that you saw defenses do and to be able to aggressively attack the way that people had the counters to this offense. You want to be able to have all those answers baked in. Last year, you're just trying to feel your way through. This year should be the attempt to have some mastery to it. So this way things happen quicker and there's even a more efficient process. It's funny, I had a conversation yesterday about Trevor Lawrence, and the two areas where I would say that he can improve in terms of take this game up a notch is higher completion rate. To go from 60% to about 67, 68% would be terrific. And then the efficiency, right? Last year, passer rating was at 91. If he can get that well over 100, it means that this offense is operating at the high clip that Liam Coen wants to see. And it also means that we're probably putting more points on the board, which is definitely what everyone wants.
I think what we're also kind of seeing with Trevor is he's taking ownership of it. It feels like it's partially his, where I feel like sometimes when he was running Doug's offense, it felt more like, okay, this is the system we run. It didn't feel like his own. And it really feels like the way Liam's tailored it, that Trevor has really taken ownership in it, and he feels like it's his. And you can see the confidence in him when he's operating now. It's much different than as opposed to, oh, this is what we're required to do. He has more of a decision maker role in it as well. He gets to option out. He gets to choose a lot more. And I think we've seen him being given a more difficult offense, and he's really risen to the challenge, at least what we've seen in the back half of last season. I imagine it will continue this season, but giving him more, independence, the ability to make decisions at the line and kind of operate there could be overwhelming for some people, but Trevor really seems to enjoy that task of having more options at his disposal and being able to be the one to make the decisions.
Kyle, you didn't notice I always wanted to be a teacher, and they always talk about in education that your students rise up to the standards that you create in the classroom. So when Liam came in and he talked about, oh, no, we're going to give him all of this at the line of scrimmage. We're not going to have a wristband. We're going to have multiple audibles. We're going to have kills at the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be able to run it. And what we've seen, it was very hard and difficult and challenging at first. But when he mastered it, what it did, it does give him a control and a sense of, oh, this is my offense. I know what I'm doing. Everyone has to respond to what I'm seeing and what I want to do. I think indirectly, Liam created a situation where Trevor had to own the offense for this offense to be effective. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. And because he was able to get it, I'll say about the middle of the year, he was able to really understand and comprehend it. He's excited about having more at his disposal because it allows him to get to other parts in this offense that will really unlock different parts of his game. So I think we all should be excited to feel the excitement in his voice about what they're doing and how they progress. I think it's only going to be a good thing for this offense as we look towards the season. And
obviously you can dig into the technical parts of this offense with guys who weren't here last offseason. Jacoby Myers was not around last offseason. He came mid-season, and trial by fire, he was fantastic at the end of the year. But now he's in those meetings every day. He's working with Trevor after practice with all these different receivers, working on technique and different items. And you can really dig deep this time of year in that regard, too. I like seeing the after practice, hey, let's stay for another 15, 20 minutes out here and maybe go through something that didn't go right today or something I want to tweak a little bit.
I think Jacoby also really took to when he got here was that back at the season when Trevor was really understanding the offense well, and I feel like he was kind of teaching him that as well. And when you can come in and have a quarterback that knows where they want you to be and can say that to you and be direct about it and isn't like wishy-washy learning it with you, that very much came out quite clear right out of the gate, right? That he was understanding of the offense and he could teach it to others as well as what Trevor was able to do. And if you're a veteran coming in, you can have respect for that. If you're coming into a system where everybody else is learning at the same time, it could be a little difficult, but it felt like they were at a good point in the season when he came in that he was able to kind of pick it up as it goes along.
Time to take your season to the next level when the Jags return to the bank in 2026. Become a season ticket member and unlock exclusive access to ticketed events, members-only experiences, priority for Stadium of the Future, and much more. Availability limited. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/tickets. JP Shadrick, Kainani Stevens, Bucky Brooks. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. A lot of questions about Travis Hunter these days. Pretty much everywhere you go, you get asked about Travis Hunter. That's how it works. He's off to the side right now. He's limited in the offseason program. Liam Coen asked about his progress off the field.
I asked him, he had a mic, and he was listening to the calls, and I'm like, dude, you want to jump on there, don't you, and start talking, don't you? So it was great. The virtual room, has been really good for Travis to be able to go in there. We expanded that room downstairs to make it one big room. And man, you can go in there and essentially play a game, almost from the defensive back's perspective. All you see is the linebackers, the D-line, and the offense. And so he can go in there in a half hour and play a game and just go. Right now, you're not going to be able to get a ton of all the routes and how they play out. but alignment, assignment, making calls, adjustments to formations has been so valuable to him.
That's Liam Coen, of course. Full press conferences from Tuesday at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. And, yeah, they used to have two different rooms, one for offense, one for defense, where basically it's the whole wall is a screen. And from the player's vantage point, you can see a full defense or a full offensive lineup. And now they've just blown out the wall. It's
like the full length of a football field now, I think.
Is it that wide?
I think so. Because it was like 2 or 3 rooms they connected together. So now it's as if you're standing on a football field, like the width of a football field.
Jeez.
And then probably, I think, 15, 20 yards. And then the whole screen wall is just as if you were standing at the line of scrimmage staring at football. So it's a very cool, immersive experience. And I'm imagining if you're actually trying to learn an NFL defense or offense, that's the way to go about it.
Bucky, they didn't have that 95 here.
Real fancy.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. But the things you guys are describing, I think I saw a video like Texas Tech has what they call a walkthrough room. They have things similar like that. And, the one thing that people are saying with the advances of VR and being able to get those mental reps, your mind can't tell the difference between like a mental rep and a physical rep. And so it's a way to advance your game without exposing to physical exertion. That's a very creative way. No, in 95, they certainly didn't have those things available to Bucky Brooks and others.
Just had your 2-a-days outside.
Yeah, just 3 days in the heat.
I mean, we're a different breed back then. It's a different time. We like to go out in the grass, deal with the Florida heat, and kind of get some extra conditioning in while we're trying to work on our games. I mean, today's generation, that's just not how they built.
Importance of patience for Travis Hunter, Bucky, in this offseason where he's not going to be on the field much. He's going to be in those rooms. Everybody's wanting him to do all these things. He wants to do all these things, but the calendar only goes at its own pace.
Yeah, no, I think he has to be very patient, and I think the people around him have to be very, very patient with him and try and restrain him from working against himself. Look, it's a marathon, not a sprint. He has plenty of time to get back, and he's going to be the player that we thought he would be in with second overall pick. Now, it's a little different because people are talking about defensive heavy more so than offensive heavy, but I'm be honest with you, when you watched him at Colorado, it was more that he was a terrific defensive player, great instincts and awareness, and in a defense that is designed to be more zone oriented, where you're playing with vision on the quarterback and he can lean into his natural instincts. He should be a terrific player on that side. And then we're seeing the multiplicity of the offense and all the different things. You're talking about Brenton Strange, but there's going to be a role for him. They'll create a role for him to get on the field and make plays and kind of be the same dynamic weapon that he was teasing us before his injury. Look, I'm excited about him and his progress. We just got to make sure he's healthy and ready to go when he has his opportunity.
They're definitely engaging him as much as they can right now because even, some people that are injured, they'll be off to the side working out, doing other things. He's like, they were doing team drills yesterday. He's in the huddle, listening to the play, doing all that, and then he just steps back and doesn't do the play. Like, he's very much involved in everything he possibly can be at this point, so I have to imagine, they're probably holding him back a little bit, make sure everything's all right before he gets back out there. But I think it'll be sooner than later.
Next week, 2 more OTA practices this week, and then 3 next week, including one open to the media. Usually the first one of the week will be open to the media each week, and next week it's defense at the podium. Anthony Campanelli, I believe, will be at the podium. Grant Udinski was there yesterday as well. You can check out that conversation. So we'll have a lot more defensive talk next week. And then, Bucky, the mandatory minicamp is June 9, 10, 11. They didn't have 3 more OTAs on the schedule the week after that. They moved it up a week, kind of flip-flopped some things. So there's your upcoming schedule, Buck. I know you'll be here to chart and incompletions and everything.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't wait to have my feet in the grass to be able to see how the team is progressing. I will be there, I think, next week.
Oh, you are actually coming.
I am
Bucky Brooks sighting? Huddle Up in person, perhaps?
In person Huddle Up.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm going to come in.
breaking
I hope
news. This is
that I put a
great.
request in to make sure that it's not too hot. I don't want to be out there all sweaty.
I was going to say, I pulled some strings and got them to work out inside yesterday. So if you need me to talk to some
I'm
people,
hoping that we
I
have
will.
full AC in effect. But yeah, I'm looking forward to coming down there, kind of seeing the squad, the new squad.
I don't know that you can handle it, though. The Taj Mahal that you stay at the beach is closed right now, Bucky. I don't know where you're going to stay. I mean,
trust, there are plenty of Taj Mahals out there. Like there are plenty of places along the beach to find. I found a few other places to go. So you never want to be all pinched in. All your eggs can't be in one basket. You got to have multiple baskets.
There's a big basket here in Jacksonville. A lot of good places for sure, and more to come. Bucky, we'll see you next week. Always a pleasure.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's fun.
No, it's your show. Your name is on the show. Like, we have to have you.
We can't do it without
We
you.
are forced.
It's a polite thing to say. It's a polite thing to say. Thanks for having me on my own show.
Bucky Brooks out of here. Kai, thanks for hopping in today.
I fill in when I can.
And does it well. Kainani Stevens, I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to Joe Fortunato. Brent Reber, thanks to you for watching and listening. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.